Que pasa, mi amigos? It is Nima here. I wanted to talk about a game that I recently discovered, and in fact, believe the sequel is coming out in a month or so. Um, Looking back at the Pokemon Direct, I got to thinking about Pokemon as a whole, and it's a game series that has been around for almost as long as I can remember, but it hasn't grown. Right? And that's hard to say because a lot of people love Pokemon. A lot of people grew up with Pokemon. A lot of people, it was their first real like RPG kind of game where it was a little bit deeper than just jumping from platform to platform and, getting from point A to point B. There's a little bit more growth in the game. But the problem is Pokemon never really grew. For a lot of us who are now in our 20s or 30s who had played Pokemon when we were younger, I think you could all agree that every Pokemon has been the same. You start off as a questionably young child who is, I don't know, wanting to be the best Pokemon master, whatever, collector, trainer, however you want to say it. And then you're just allowed to leave your house at probably 8 years old or 10 years old. Go on, go have this big adventure. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Your mom always there, always the one telling you to leave, go walk around the world by yourself with a little creature that I don't know very much about, and it might turn on you. Who knows? We don't know. But no, it all starts off the same. And all of them. Either it's a professor or it's another player, like in Pokemon Shield and Sword. But like you always choose what, three different Pokemon, and it's always the same style: grass, water, fire, and then you set out on your adventure. I've gotten a little bit stale with that. It is, I don't know, a bit repetitive, and I think we can agree with that. And not to mention, there is really no growth. So that's where I come into this game, Nexomon, which Nexomon has a horrible name. Let's be honest. It really sounds like a complete ripoff of Pokemon, and it sort of is, without a doubt. But I wanted to actually just play a little bit of the game with you guys, just to show you the difference and what Pokemon could have been, and where this game really, really succeeds. And there's a lot of very, very bright aspects of this game. There are some other things that to be, questionable, but we'll get to that. First off, just start with character creation. There again, in Pokemon, it's very limited. Yeah, I have like what, like maybe six, eight different builds. Look at this. You just go through. Can you get a guy who's a pirate in Pokemon? No, you can't. All of these different options you can have. And I'm just scrolling through some of them. It just keeps going. All the options. You can go down and have like a cool like a ninja guy, a samurai guy. Just a ton of options. Just from the get. And that, to me, is really cool. That's like something Pokemon could have easily done. But they don't. They keep it really generic, really simple. And I think that that's a place where Pokemon really just, I don't know, they didn't grow and they could have. They've gotten very stale. And there's an aspect of people are going to say, yeah, but we love the Pokemon. And that, okay, fair enough. Like, it's hard to compete with the Pikachu, Charizard kind of creatures. But like, there again, we talked about the intro of the game. Look at that creature, by the way, which looks awesome. I'm gonna try to just like I'm gonna try to scroll as slowly as possible so people can actually read, because I think some of this game is really highlighted by its narrative and by its writing. Because look, look, you're the bad guy. Apparently, we don't know. It's just this is what's saying. Like, you're reading it as like you have such raw power. Talked about you turning on them. the wickedness. They're basically calling you the most evil person in the world. You're like the Hitler of this world. How did that happen? I don't know. And that's what I think is cool. Like these people are now like they want to kill you. You don't get that in Pokemon. You definitely don't get that in Pokemon. And I know Pokemon's more of a kid game, and that's fair enough, and that's cool. But a lot of us who are in our 20s or 30s, we're not kids anymore. So when we see these Pokemon games, we still have like that same urge to do the monster collecting, the training, the leveling, the exploring, the battles, all that stuff. But it's kind of under this guise of being in like the world of Blue's Clues or something. As where this already not it, and already starting from a point of contention. Wow, you're the this like evil guy apparently. um, who knows? It's hard to say. I'm obviously I don't want to ruin any story points or anything like that. And to be honest, I've only discovered this game within the last week, so I haven't beaten it. I'm very, very far in the game, and one of the things that brought me to want to talk about this game is number one, it's on sale on the eShop for the Switch. I think I got it for like $13. I think it was like $13 or $14. Um, the other thing is a sequel coming out soon. We just talked about all the Pokemon games, and I don't know. This just fit perfectly in the a spot to talk about this game. And I just want to talk about it before it's kind of forgotten or before I kind of move on and we're kind of forced to. There's 1,000 different games coming out. I have a whole bunch of other reviews I'm working on. So, admittedly, did not beat this game, but I wanted to get ahead of the curve before it basically would have been something I just wouldn't have been able to have time for. Or I would have got to the point where, oh, I have to do the sequel now. And this is a Pokemon style game, so this is probably looking at 40 or 50 hours. I don't know when I am going to actually beat it. Again, I'm pretty far into it, and one of the things that's kept me going into this game is the humor. And let me tell you, I I interview comedians a lot on my other channel. In fact, that's one of the big ways I got into doing YouTube and stuff like that is I come from radio. Um, we work with the local comedy clubs, and so I talk to a lot of comedians. I'm friends with a lot of comedians. So when someone tells me, "Hey, something's funny," I usually don't find it that funny. I usually, yeah, like, oh, that's cute. It's not. I'm telling you, this game is hilarious. And the best character of this game is like your sidekick. And I think about all the games that kind of force feed you sidekicks, and they all do it wrong. This game does it perfect. The best like sidekick. His name is Coco, and he's like a cat. And not only does he actively talk about people talking to him, like they'll be in they'll be confused by where like what's going on in the world. Oh my god. And he's like, yeah, but you're talking to a cat right now. He has so many like deadpan lines and just like he very, very witty replies to a lot of things. And in fact, he's already like going to make his mark in the game just coming up here. And so, yeah, I don't want to talk over if you're trying to read it, but um, quickly becomes like this amazing asset to your team and to the game in general. It's not the only thing about the game that's funny. Like there's so many other aspects of this game where it's very meta. But anytime you see Coco, there's Coco right there. He's usually saying something kind of something just to take the piss out of the situation, which is really really funny, and I really enjoy that character. Maybe like my favorite NPC of all time, and that speaks highly. But I love he says stuff that we think about while we're playing the game. He says things like um questioning why like you're sending a bunch of kids out at night, things like that. Make comments about being bored, doesn't want to go through a tutorial. It's just really really funny. He's very meta, and I love that as well. Somebody who loves um, the show Community, like that idea of being meta is really really great. So yeah, I just kind of want to talk about this game, and kind of go through a little bit of it with you, and just so you can kind of see like the intro. And we do have a little bit of time here, so again, I try not to talk over some of it. You're trying to read, and try not to scroll too fast either, which is kind of difficult. But there isn't a whole lot of um, I want to say here. There's not a whole lot of like text, but there is to an extent. Like they've got to obviously set up the game. There's a lot of just grinding if you want, and that's one thing I will say. That kind of makes the game, I don't know, a little bit stale after a little while. Is the grinding? Because think about old school Pokemon, and it's kind of like that. But yeah, there's Coco again making his smart aleck comment. She's hilarious. It's very, very hilarious. But no, like the old school Pokemon where it did seem a little bit more grindy, and that's where this game definitely is in that realm. Like if you like just plowing through tons and tons of monsters and slowly raising your level, that's the way this is. Now there are skill share or XP share and stuff like that, but it comes along a little bit later in the game. So real early on, it I don't know. It does take some time, especially if you want to do like what I usually do in Pokemon games or those kind of games where I level really early. So I'll grind like a good 10 hours before the game really even starts, just so I have like some really OP Pokemon, and then I don't have to worry about going like stopping and grinding more. But I do suggest maybe getting a little bit further in because the more and more I play, the more Nexomon like they kind of got cooler and there was a little bit more options. So and the XP share as well comes to play, and so you're able to distribute more XP amongst like your Nexomon who aren't in the active battle. As where the way they have it set up right now, or early on, only the Nexomon who is in battle gets the XP. Um, but the game itself, like I can say in so many ways does kind of take a very, very Pokemon approach. This is a Pokemon type game, but with a twist. And I think like that twist is very, very important because I can't think of another game that I have enjoyed as much. And when I say other game, I mean other Pokemon game that I've enjoyed as much as Nexomon. I think they should have came up with a different name, 100%. I think they should have changed um the names of the creatures because it seems I don't know. For all the other polish that this game has on it, namely narratively speaking and writing, it I don't know. Calling it Nexomon just seems kind of like a ripoff, and it does kind of, in my opinion, when I heard about the game, I was kind of like, that just seems like a cheap ripoff, and I don't think it is. I really don't think it is. I understand too. One of the other concerns is that this game was like a mobile game. I'm not really sure too much about the origins of the game, and I probably should have looked into it. Probably should have done some research for you guys, but I just didn't. I kind of forgot. But it doesn't play like a mobile game. It doesn't really play like any of those cheap Pokemon ripoffs, and namely just because of the writing and the complexity of which you can control your Nexomon and the options that this game has. You see early on just your character selection. Well, wait here in a second, you'll see the first Nexomon you get to start off with, and you're not just left with like three choices. No, you start off with a bunch of different options. Not to mention, can we at least talk about the fact that Pokemon anymore kind of look like Transformers? I'm sorry, those like legendary Pokemon don't look like monsters anymore. They look like, I don't know, half robot kind of like some sort of beings. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe it's the art style. Some of them either they look super humanoid, or they look like robots. It's really weird. I have to say that. Like, and I have enjoyed the Nexomon designs quite a bit better. I've enjoyed the characters quite a bit better. Not only just dialogue, which I keep going on about how great the dialogue is, but also like the character style and the build. They look like people who would be out actually in these like epic battles with giant monsters. They look like those kind of warriors that we're used to. We don't get that a lot in like Pokemon. You get very cutesy, it's a kiddie kind of game, and that's fine. And you know what? If you're 50 years old and you love that, that's cool. But yeah, I mean, look, straight off the go, this is what we get for options to start off with. I mean, you've got your obviously, your ice, water, fire, earth, but then you've already got ghost, wind, lightning, rock, and psychic. And all of them look pretty cool. Like they all have their own like awesome design. Uh it, there's no real right or wrong choice here. And just for poop's sake, I'm just going to choose him because I don't really care. I have my own game going. Like I said, this is starting this over. I just want to show you guys the very beginning of the game. Um, and it plays very much like Pokemon. As far as the mechanics are concerned, if that's something that you're, you know, worried about or something that you really enjoy is the Pokemon mechanics, well, it's definitely here. So I don't want this video to go on forever, so I do want to go and talk about some of the negative things about the game because I've been gushing on about how great the game is, but there are some negatives. Number one, I don't love the music. It's okay. Um, it's fine. The big one for me is control. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that it was like a mobile port, or I don't know what the deal is, but your analog stick controlling your character is very loose. And it's not something that's like game breaking at all, considering this is a turn based kind of RPG game where, there's no platforming, there's no running, there's nothing of that. Like you don't have to worry about your character's movement, but it's slightly annoying because you'll be walking along and you'll try to stop at a certain spot and you just feel like your guy maybe goes just a half inch further than when you stopped. And it happens a lot when you change directions. Like when you're walking, be walking one way, and say you're heading east and then you make a quick change to go north, you will feel like it's just a bit loose. And yeah, it's annoying. Like it's not again game breaking or anything of that nature, but it's annoying. And for me, that's been probably outside of the kind of grind heavy aspect of it, which to be honest is actually pretty fun. Um, but those are the biggest complaints I have. The grindy aspect of it, the fun of that is the fact that these are like new monsters that we're not really familiar with. So when we see them like evolve and stuff like that, that's pretty cool, pretty interesting. Like, oh, I wonder what this creature becomes and how it works. And so, you kind of have a good point to grind and to build your team up. I do wish, from just like convenience sake and maybe to take down the grindy bit a little bit, I wish there was like this native XP share. That just make things a little bit easier. And I know that's not the way even the Pokemon game started off with or anything. Um, but it's I just feel like this is a better game. This is like a total successor to Pokemon. And I want to get through it. Like, one of the things I will say is I wanted to do like a stream, but there is no way I can stream. I have two little kids. One of them is 1 years old, and I have to watch her like after 7 at night. So, and that's when she goes to sleep, by the way. So there's just no way I could stream ever. I own a business. My wife is a biochemist. She makes most of like the big money. Like I let her sleep at night. I watch the baby. If I streamed, most of it would just be people looking at not like a blank screen, not moving because I'm changing a diaper or I'm or I'm having to be quiet. That's the other thing. I can only make videos when my family's not at home. It's the joys of being a father with young children. It's great. Uh, but yeah, I did just want to play this out. And I know this video is getting a little bit long, so I'm gonna end it here soon. But I just wanted to show you what this game's about, and that it's only a fraction of the cost of a Pokemon game. And I actually feel like it's a better game than most Pokemon games I played. It really brought back like that nostalgia of like playing Pokemon Red for the first time. And there was all these, you had this idea of where this game could go and how it could grow and all these different monsters and stuff that you could catch. And you had this like wonderment about the game that has kind of just ran stale. Now we just it's kind of formulaic after I don't know 20, 30 years of doing that same thing. I get it, but maybe give us a little bit more. This is ways that they could have given us something more, or they can still do that. I guess we're still, I'm super excited about Arceus. Don't get me wrong, and I think Arceus is a major step in that direction. And for me, Pokemon Arceus is a like first day buy. I'm super excited for it. But that like simple Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Shield, Sword, Shield, Ruby, Sapphire, like all of those, for me, it's just been so damn stale for a very, very long time. And this game, I think, hits it right. So if you're a Pokemon fan who's been sort of, I don't know, just bored with a lot of the Pokemon, or you're waiting, you're like, hey, I haven't played a Pokemon in a while. I've got a few months until Diamond and Pearl come out. This is a great game. This is a great middle spot for you, and I think you're gonna play this game and go, God, I wish Pokemon had this kind of writing. Because for me, that was so huge. As I've been playing it, I love just the outright like narratives, the writing that goes into it, the communication back and forth. It is very, very funny. I can't tell you how funny the game actually is for being what it was. It just kind of like popped out. Uh, like again, like Coco being one of the funniest video game characters I've seen. Like just has some great lines, things that you would say when you're playing a game. And the characters in general, I think they still have that like overarching like, hey, this is kind of crazy. These people are, very loud and very kind of wild, but also being a little bit more adult. And I think that's just kind of important and kind of interesting. Anyway, before this gets even longer, just wanted to show you guys the kind of intro to Nexomon Extinction. It is I think it was like $12, $13 on the eShop right now. Very, very, very good value for you. It's a new game to pick up. I definitely recommend checking it out. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.